Just a reminder, there's a few of us in here tonight, so let's be careful not to talk over each other. And make sure you allow me to guide the conversations. If you hear people talking and you can't see the screen, there are people who are just logged in audio to give feedback and kind of just be like bystanders and share their stories, whatever have you. Okay?
She is Athena Gray, wife to wolf. In the wolf pack, there is the alpha male wolf and the alpha female wolf. They run right alongside each other. Wife to wolf is the alpha female wolf, and the alpha male wolf is...
When you need that, don't hesitate, just send my line, your fantasy, yeah. I'm sending chills up down your spine, and girl, I need it. Won't catch me in these streets, I play this game for keeps. Now could you say the least, mixing dirty with the Sprite. I just smoke, babe, that's alright. In my zone, in my element, gift from God, feeling heaven sent. This that new shit that I'm on, to the face, you know I'm gone. You say I'm always wrong, but keep coming back for more. Touching me, yeah. You see when I see you, the real nigga like the way you need that. Don't hesitate, just in my life, girl, I need it. Won't catch me in these streets, I play this game for keeps. Now could you say the least? Touching me, yeah. Cause see when I see you, the real nigga like what you need, yeah. I ain't gon' lie, you just my type.
Yeah, I think you recognize the red cup. We have the red cup every week. Why? Because we drink it up. Tonight, we have 2 new additions to the Wolfpack that we are super excited about. Let's start with Quirky Mermaid Wolf. She is our newest addition. Quirky Mermaid Wolf, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, if the name doesn't already tell you enough, I have little quirks to me. So you'll see throughout the show a little bit of here, a little bit of there. I'm a little bit of spice, a little bit of nice. I get a little bit of all when it comes to me.
We will take it, and we need it. Thank you, Quirky Mermaid Wolf. And our second newest addition to the team, who we are super excited about as well, Luna Howl Wolf. Luna, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Hi, how are you? Well, I'm a Jill of all trades. I do a bunch of different things, so I'm just here, to have my opinions out, and that's it, just to have a good time.
That's exactly what we're here to do, have a good time. I've been waiting for this all week. I've been waiting for this drink all week. They're both finally here, and I'm so happy. All right, so let's hear from the rest of the wolf pack. I'm just checking the chat to see what we have in here tonight. Let's hear from the rest of the wolf pack. How you doing, Dr. Kitty Care?
Hi, everyone.
How you doing, She-Wolf?
Hi, how are you?
Beast is in the building.
Girl. I'm doing good.
Yay. All right, so tonight we're going to get a little bit serious. But you know how it is. Eventually, Firewolf will be joining us a little bit. She'll spark it up. I'll drink it up. We'll turn it up. We'll speak up. And it's just going to be uphill from here. So tonight's serious topic is Uzis to Glocks. Is the Second Amendment on the chopping block? The gun crisis in America. Who agrees there's a gun crisis in America?
Oh, yes.
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's the elephant in the room, right? We will also hear from Counsel Ashley Bailey a little bit later, who is a criminal defense attorney, who's going to come on tonight and give us the lowdown on what to do if you get caught with that Glock. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. All right, so let's get started with our first question. Let's address the chat. In the chat, I think we have our guest, Rasan.
Alpha male is here.
Hello, Rasan. Is that you, boo boo?
It is I.
It is he. All right. So, Rasan has a story that he's going to share with us later. Also, he's ex-military, so he's going to give us a little education on some guns, as he has a couple, and he's licensed to have them all. And I know a few of you wolves got some guns, too. So, we're going to talk about that. But let's start with our first question, and we will start with Luna Howolf and work our way back. How safe do you think we are, Luna Howolf, with the current gun control laws?
Well, it's hard to say like how safe we are, because I think you really have to dive into looking at the individual that has these guns. So we really gotta, dig deep to see who's carrying the guns. I mean, I feel like there's pros and cons with each one.
Okay, that's fair enough. And Quirky Mermaid Wolf, how safe do you think we are with these current gun control laws?
With the current gun control laws, I don't think we're safe at all.
Elaborate.
Oh, I was waiting to see
Elaborate. We want to hear.
Well, the ones we currently have, it's not where most people are thinking I'm going with it, but what we have currently doesn't work. Is where I'm going with it. It doesn't work. We need to do something different. It doesn't mean, obviously, either right or all the way left. It means we need to find a happy medium.
Right. Because anything can happen at any time with anyone who's not supposed to have a gun. Good point. Yes, thank you. Dr. Kitty Care, how safe do you think we are, Kitty?
There are several issues here, but what stands out for me are two at the moment, okay? It's gun accessibility and mental health. And let me first start off by saying that I understand that each state has their own state laws when it comes to guns. And I think it's important to note that most Americans who have guns are law-abiding citizens. But I believe that the gun laws are frequently ineffective because their intent is to target those who are criminals, such as your rapists, your murderers, your burglars, or those with ill intent, okay?
Okay.
Well, remember, criminals who like to commit crimes are less likely to follow the law.
Right.
They may be more likely to scoff at or ignore the gun laws, okay? Right. Because many of the gun laws they're considered misdemeanors.
Right.
They will obtain these guns illegally through the black market if they have to.
Right.
The nationwide statistics is that 60% of crime guns originated with only 1% of licensed gun dealers. And according to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and I quote them, the most important single source of firearms for the illegal market is still illegal trafficking who are acquiring firearms from retail outlets. So the way the process is set up now, while our goal is to keep guns out of the hands of those with ill intent, you will actually be doing the opposite. Ideally, what we want is for criminals not to have the guns and law-abiding citizens who desire them, that they can have them. But what will happen is that the criminals will continue to have the guns and the law-abiding citizens will do what the laws tell them to do. Okay?
Go ahead. I'm
Secondly,
sorry. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I think it's important to note that there are a number of gun-related deaths per year is approximately 45,000 a year in the United States. Now that's rising. Just 3 years ago, there was between 35,000 to 37,000. Now the majority of these deaths are with handguns, not military assault weapons, not high capacity magazines. And 65% of those deaths are by suicide. 17% are by criminal activities such as gangs, drug-related activities, crimes committed by the mentally ill, and even the mass shootings. 15% is by law enforcement in the line of duty, and 3% are accidental discharge.
Okay, so, I've bitten a few people. So does that make me a criminal? Let's confirm what a criminal is. When we talk about these criminals running around with guns, is that me? Because I will bite. I bite.
Did you do it in self-defense? Did you do it in self-defense?
Biting in self-defense?
Was your life in danger?
I bit.
Was your life in danger?
I wanted to.
Okay. You wanted to fight somebody?
Sometimes we just get angry.
We just can't. We wolves don't do that. We just don't go biting anybody. Just everybody we see.
It was soft.
Oh, you talking about something else? Okay.
It was a soft.
I think she.
But let's confirm.
I think
So,
she
am
is.
I a criminal because I bit somebody? What is this? What is the definition of a criminal?
Definition of criminal.
So these
Well,
criminals
if you
with
cause
guns.
bodily harm, if you cause bodily injury on somebody and intentionally, that could be considered a crime. You attack somebody. You know, if you go with somebody and just start biting them or hitting them, or you hit somebody with a bat or something like that, I'm sure that's called an assault.
Okay, so if I bit somebody, I'm taken to court and I'm found not guilty. Am I considered in the system as a criminal?
If you're not
You were
guilty,
never charged with a crime.
If you're found
Right,
not
okay.
you're not
guilty,
charged.
So
the court of
when
law
we-
decided.
All right, so when we refer to criminals, we're referring to people with a background where they've been charged with a crime and convicted guilty, right?
Yeah, they've been in jail before, stuff like
Got
that.
it. All right, so
Somebody
these are the
before-
people. These are the people that we're talking about are going around with guns and hurting others, and most likely these guns are not licensed, right? They're not law-abiding citizens. To Dr. Kitty Care's point, right? Okay, I just wanted to confirm that, right? Just for those of you who are unsure what criminals are. Wife the Wolf is not a criminal because I bite. Beast.
Now
What's your
you're talking
thoughts?
about Trenton and Newark and East Orange, and you're talking about criminals.
All right, but I have a question.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you bit, was there blood? Was it Was it gushing? I mean, what was the level of this bite?
There was howling.
Or did you just show your teeth? Or did you just show your teeth? Like brandishing a weapon. Did you just show your teeth?
The teeth.
And did the person that got bit, did they like it?
They loved
That's
it.
right.
Oh, you going somewhere else if that was in the house.
They loved it. They
Yeah.
loved that shit. They was like, I got a phone call the next day. I was like, could you bite me again tonight? Anyway, going on, Beast, what is your thoughts on the current control gun laws? Do you think they're safe for us? You got to excuse me.
Being a black wolf, it's not safe for me. I got a target on my back because these cops is killing us left and right. We could be running away from the cops, and they'll shoot us in the back. We ain't even got no weapon on us or nothing.
Yep.
Gun laws definitely. You need to do something about it. They need to do something about it definitely because we getting murdered left and right for no reason.
Someone said to me the other day, should all police have guns? Why can't they just have stun guns or those rubber balls that they shoot? Why do all
I
cops
have a
need
good
guns?
answer.
Let's
I have a
hear
good
it.
answer. Is that going to save your life when you need them? Are you willing to put your life on the line if you need them at that very moment?
No, is my answer, but I'm gonna let everyone else answer. But the question that we got to ask ourselves, and I want to ask this directly to you, Quirky Mermaid. Do you think that if a police officer arrived on a scene and he had a taser and what is the proper terminology for the rubber ball gun, Rasan? I think you know better than I do.
I forgot the name of it, but it's a gun that they shoot with rubber
The pellet gun. Yeah,
Pellet
the
gun.
rubber pellet gun.
It'll put you down, but it won't kill you. The problem is like you have a lot of cops on the force, and they're like he said, like we're the targets. So if we can run away from them and they shoot us, why aren't they criminals? But if we did it, we're criminals. It's not justified, and they get death duty or something like that. So it's not fair at all.
Yeah, they're not even being convicted or nothing. They're not going to jail. Nothing.
Nah.
So, what we trying to get at is when I asked for the definition of a criminal, and we talked about mental health evaluations before receiving a licensing permit to carry a gun. Are we going in a direction that is also not working because there are police officers or people who are licensed to have guns that are obviously demonstrating that the state of their mental health shows that they shouldn't have these permits?
It's not even mental health. They could be just racist and don't like black men.
Right.
Or brown people. They just straight racist and they don't even deserve to have a gun.
Okay. So now talking about the Uvalde shooting, right? Where it was a brown man. He was not black, he was brown, right? Some say, and this is not my own personal opinion, but some say that if they referring to police, had arrived on the scene and he was anything other than brown or black, he'd still be alive today, right? I don't know that. I'm just telling you what I've heard on the media, right? So if that's the case, this brown man, not a black man, but this brown man was shot and killed upon arrival at the Uvalde school where the shooting took place back in May. I believe it was May 24th, somewhere in that area, right? That this young kid was killed, right? So what one could say was the state of that police officer's mental health is definitely debatable, right? Because sometimes fear makes us do crazy things, right? It's not necessarily that your mental health needs to be evaluated or a question. It could be that the fear of your life was at question at that moment, right? But based on what you're saying, Beast, in response to the way you feel as a human being, as a black man here in America, you feel that the current gun laws are not safe for you. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's not safe for me.
Okay.
No way.
Got it. All right. Thank you. So with that, I'm going to go on to the next question shortly, but we have a guest caller on the line. He's kind of been chirping in a little bit, but just talking about gun laws not being safe, right? So we kind of touched on them not being safe because they get in the hands of criminals and they hurt innocent people, right? We talked about them not being safe because they get in the hands of police officers who do not use them effectively, right? So let's talk about another way that they're not safe. And I think when Rasan shares his story, then we'll all kind of understand that. Rasan, would you like to take a mic and tell us a little bit why you logged in today to share your story?
Oh,
have a drink.
Wait, which one about the suicide? Or which one?
Yes.
So my brother committed suicide. He had so what happened was he had a gun. It was registered, right? And I talk to people and they say when you go get your weapon, like I did, they do a mental eval, right? And they determine if mentally you're good enough to have a weapon. Now, I don't think that is effective because my brother got one in his hands and he was suicidal. So what happens is you answer all these questions and they determine by your answers if you're good enough to have it. So he was able to get one and nobody knew that he was going through something. Like he kept it to himself, I guess like a depression or whatever the case may be. So he had went out and he drove away. He drove like an hour away. It was in North Carolina. Walked all the way to the woods and just blew his brains out. So I don't think that background check or that mental check that they do is effective because anybody can a lot of people can go get a weapon and play it off like they're good. There's no device they can put in your head that say, okay, this guy's not good enough, because you really don't know until a person commit a crime or commit suicide if they was mentally stable to have a weapon or not. So I don't think that the background checks that they do is efficient enough, and it has to be something else. But what can you possibly do? You can't tell somebody they look like they can't have a gun. It's a constitutional right. So I think that's the big problem that we have is getting the guns in the wrong person's hand. But the question is, who is the wrong person? You don't know until they commit a crime. Anybody can have a gun. We could be on the phone right now. All of us can have a weapon. We don't know in the next day if somebody's going to do something or not. We just don't know until it happened. So I don't know what can possibly be done to prevent that.
Okay,
and that's just my story with me.
So your brother, right? It was your brother that committed suicide, Rasan?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long would you say he was a gun owner? How long did he have a gun and an actual license to carry approximately? I know you don't know exactly. Before he had
probably like about 6-7 years, something like that.
Okay, so he had a gun permit license to carry for about 6 to 7 years. How long would you say that he was in a questionable mental state before he committed suicide?
We don't know because he was normal. From what we know, he was normal. So we don't know. So it's not like, he shows signs. A person can be going through something mentally and keep it to themselves. They get around people, hey, laughing and joking, but behind closed doors, it's a different ball game. But we don't know that because we're not there 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week in his face to figure that out. So we had no clue. He was going to the store, and my mom seen him on camera going to the store, and that was it. No clue at all. At all. We had no clue.
Got it.
So, I just think that it has to be, I don't even think there's anything that you can possibly do, even with the police. You hire police officers, they get past the test, but their intent is to kill black people. You don't know that. You
Yeah,
have
you
no
can't tell.
clue. You can't tell. You can't look at them and say, you look like you're just trying to kill blacks or whatever. You can't do that. There's no test that can separate that. There isn't. So it's legal to buy a gun if your background checks out, no criminal history, and once you get that gun, shit, you can have a outbreak the next day. You can have an outbreak the same day. You just don't know. So that's how dangerous it is. And guns don't kill people. People kill people. My guns never went off by themselves in a room, in the house, ever. And I doubt if they ever will.
Right.
Somebody have to grab it and use it.
Got it. All right. Thank you very much for sharing your story, Rassan. Now I just want to ask you one quick question.
Rod, I'm sorry to hear about your brother, man.
I'm sorry about
I
your
appreciate that. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
that
Thank you.
really touched me.
Yes.
You
Thank you.
just never know. You just never know who's going through something, or you just never know. They can smile in your face, and as soon as you turn around, they inside is just gone. You just don't know.
That is correct. So I know when you and I had this conversation, we kind of talked about maybe if gun owners had to do mental health evaluations every 2 years, we could crack down on that, right? Because, 10 years ago, you were in one state, and then 10 years later, something can happen. It could be a loss of a job, a boss who you felt like treated you unfairly. Mental health, actually, the mental health numbers increased during COVID, right? So those different type of things, sometimes people lose a loved one. Anything could just kind of put them on an edge where they feel like they want to take their lives or either someone else's. So maybe getting a gun license 10 years later, you should have to be relicensed, right? Every 2 years, if you want to be a gun owner, you have to actually go for a re-evaluation of your mental health status. Now, with my apologies, I know this is actually your topic this week, and we didn't come to you yet.
Mine and beast.
So, yeah, what are your thoughts on the current gun laws? Do you think as though they're safe?
No.
And why do you not think they're safe?
There's too many cracks in this system. There's not enough regulation. There's not enough people that are in charge that are adequate at their job.
Okay.
To enforce this and keep it enforced.
Okay. All right. So you feel like basically the enforcement of gun laws needs to be stepped up a little bit.
Oh yeah, a whole lot.
Okay. All right. So now going to our second question, we'll start with you. What are the pros and cons, in your opinion, of having a gun?
That's a tricky question, because when it all boils down to it, is it really a pro at all to this situation? You could have a gun on you. Someone could, for instance, break into your house. There are some states that you can shoot them at will as long as they're in your house. If you feel unsafe or unprotected or you feel threatened, and get away with it. As long as it's not outside. But after you've shot that person, you've killed someone's son. Possibly.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Someone. If he was trying to come in my house, I don't have no fucks to give.
Right.
And I'm just being honest with you. You was trying to come in my house, I don't give a fuck whose son you are. You going down.
Right.
You shouldn't be there in the first place.
That's true, but here's the thing. Can you control yourself enough to just are you trying to shoot to kill, or are you just trying to harm individual to give them some sort of understanding that what you're doing was
whatever happens to your ass, you decided you didn't care, so I don't have no fucks to give either.
Some people feel that way. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
I'll be honest, I don't know where that bullet's gonna go. My aim is not all that good, so it might hit the door, it might hit the person.
If that bullet goes up your ass, then I'm gonna put one in your mouth.
Yeah.
Well, I've had proper certification and training, and I go to the gun range regularly, so my shot is pretty good. So,
But what I'm saying is,
So basically, what Dr. Kitty Care is saying, y'all better watch your ass.
don't go into that house. Not the premises, not the gate.
You'll be protected if you come on my property. You'll be protected.
I'm coming here.
Dr. Kitty Care, don't shoot nobody in the leg.
No.
No, but I get it. I see both
but the point
sides.
I
get it.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make, I mean, when is this going to end? I mean, if someone's coming after you, you take out a gun. I mean,
well,
what whatever happened to someone's coming at you with their fist, you pull out a gun. No, is it not fist on fist? What?
No, but
I think
extremities, the extreme,
Yeah, I think people in their house, if someone is breaking in, they're just assuming that they have a gun, so they're going to shoot you first because you broke into my house.
Let me tell you something. If you come up at my house, you could come in there with your fanny pack, some pancakes, because I love pancakes.
Shooting.
I'm shooting your ass. Whether you have a gun or not, I'm shooting your motherfucking ass if you come to my goddamn house unwanted. Period.
All right,
not.
but let's
people
be
who-
real.
there's people
How many
who are
people
triggered.
coming?
Oh,
Let's be real. How many people come and breaking into your house without a gun? Have you heard of one? Because I still have wait to see one.
I know that's right, Quirky man. You better put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But gun or not, I'm going to pretend like you got one.
Mm-hmm. But some people are trigger happy, so.
Agreed.
I mean, is it really trigger happy when somebody...
understand.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dr.
Yes,
King.
but understand this, you guys, and you're going to find a wide range of statistics that anywhere, and this is on an annual basis, anywhere from 500,000 to 2 million people a year have reported using their gun in self-defense. And when I say using their gun, not necessarily shooting it off, shooting at someone, but brandishing it by showing it, by shooting it up in the air to deter any criminal activity if someone was on their property, in their home, attacking their wife, anything of that nature. So there are numbers out there to support that there is benefit that is happening, and it is happening to people.
Listen, I got 350 pounds worth of dogs at home. I got Connie Corsos, Italian Mastiffs, the dogs you saw in Game of Thrones.
They ain't gonna stop no hollow.
Let me finish. Let me fill this, Rashan. I taught my dogs shoot first, bite last. Okay? My dogs carry guns too. Bullets do what teeth can't.
Okay. They are huge.
Yeah.
Your dog's as big as hell.
All right.
Yeah.
So with that said, right, we're gonna keep moving. I know we have a guest by the name of Christy.
Okay.
Christy, hello. Are you there?
Hi, yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for calling in. I know that you messaged and said you had something that you wanted to share with us today in regards to our topic, which is Uzis to Glotts is the Second Amendment on the chopping block. Gun crisis in America. Christy, do we have a gun crisis in America?
No. My name is Christy, and I'm from Perth Amboy. And, regardless of your views on Caucasian individuals, my husband is white, and I believe that carrying guns, people should be able to carry guns without a license at the age of 18 years old.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm about to choke on the ice in my tequila. Christy, what? You said 18 without a license?
Yes.
Chrissy, I got a daughter at home that's 17. She'll be 18 in December. And her ass with a gun, I would have been shot already. I would have been shot over senior pictures. Are you sure about that? Like today she said to me, she was like, Mom, my senior pictures was scheduled in August and you didn't do it. And now I'm not going to be in a yearbook all because of you. I would have got shot, Christy, if she had a gun. So you're telling me an 18-year-old should have a gun without a fucking license? They're crazy.
Listen. I believe that citizens that are 18 that have either a handgun or a rifle or whatever gun of their choice are not a threat. I think they are considered as law-abiding citizens.
Wait. Wait. Dr. Kitty Care, let's talk about that handgun statistics you were telling me about earlier. Handguns, Dr. Kitty Care was just telling me, we were on the phone prepping for this call today about 4:30 today. Dr. Kitty Care was telling me, Dr. Kitty, you want to take over from here?
Well, no, it's just the overwhelming majority of the gun-related deaths are by handguns. And as I stated before, and they weren't by machine guns. I'm unclear about the age, but generally, I know that it may differ from state to state. And I know that there are kids who grow up in homes filled with guns, and they've been properly educated. They know how to hunt, they use it for recreation, and they also use it for self-defense. For example, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Dr. Kitty Care. What I was kind of going after is, I think today, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you know I got the tequila in the cup, but didn't we kind of discuss that handguns are the guns that's mostly used in homicides?
The majority of deaths are with handguns. Okay. Yes, that's what we.
Thank you, Dr. Kitty Care.
Yes.
Now, Christy.
Yes.
You're telling me that this is July, and in August, my 17, soon to be 18-year-old daughter should be able to carry a handgun without a license. Christy, are you sure?
Yes, if that's her, if that's what she wants to do, I think that's her right. I think everyone should be able to carry handguns regardless of the situation.
Are you saying as long as they're educated or not? Because I feel like, a lot of the times these guns go off is because of mental health. Well, one of the reasons is mental health. So if your brain is not fully developed until your 20s, I think it's hard to say that, a teenager could hold a gun. Like, are you saying as long as they've been educated? Like what is your reasoning?
Yes, well, obviously, if they're not in the right mental health, then obviously they shouldn't be able to, have a gun unless they, went through the proper process of
but
being
Christy,
able to,
that goes against what you just said, sweetheart. You just said, when you first logged on to this call, you said all 18-year-olds, regardless of anything, with or without a license, should have a gun.
All right, but obviously it's common sense that if someone has something, a mental health issue, then they shouldn't be able to have a gun. Obviously, that's common sense. I didn't think that I would have to say that.
I'm sorry, I forgot my common sense at home tonight. God damn me. Okay, Christy. So, is there anything else you'd like to add to this conversation that you feel as though is pertinent and informative?
Yes, and I think that the officers are being well trained with their guns. I think that all the officers are taught on how to prevent crime and not make it worse.
Christy, do you turn on your... listen, Christy. I'm all for the boys in blue. I actually think some of them motherfuckers look goddamn good in their uniform, okay? I'm all for the motherfucking boys in blue, Christy, okay? I love the blue boys in blue. Blue lives matter, black lives matter, wolves lives matter, Christy. But, Christy, did you see the fucking video of Derek Chauvin with that police officer? Are you telling me that motherfucker was trained right?
Yes.
So, Christy... Wow. Where you live at again, in Perth Amboy?
Yes.
Christy.
I think that everyone's Second Amendment rights concealed should be protected.
You know what, Christy? I want you to hang around for a second. Don't go anywhere, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we have one of the best, absolute best, dear to my heart, criminal defense attorneys on a call right now by the name of Ashley Bailey from Bailey Esquire. Ashley, are you there, dear?
Hi.
Hello. How are you this evening, counsel?
Okay. I'm not going to appear on screen, and apparently my credentials on Zoom have not been changed. I have my maiden name, and you introduced me as I have my married name, I'm sorry, and you introduced me as my maiden name. So all that still applies. I just got to go Zoom and change my settings.
That's totally fine. We will take it. We want you for what's in your brain tonight. So with that said, Christy was just touching on everybody's Second Amendment rights, right? So, Counsel Bailey, would you like to go over with us what the Second Amendment actually says?
Yeah, hear ye, hear ye. You all made me pull out my little pocket constitution.
You got one of those?
Listen, they made me pull out my tequila. It's better than the pocket constitution.
I'll read the
I need to find the Constitution now.
Pocket constitutions are available at the law offices of Mark Bailey, where I am currently an associate. So if you want your very own pocket constitution, come visit us. We're changing locations, so I'll be sure to include that on the chat, and you can come get your own pocket constitution.
Sí, mamacita. Thank you.
Thank you, counselor. Thank you, counselor.
Of course. The pocket constitution, as it pertains to the Second Amendment, reads this way. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the verbatim recitation of the Second Amendment. So when you talk about the Second Amendment being on the chopping block, I'm assuming you mean what happened or what transpired with SCOTUS in June, the decision that they made regarding that New York statute, or do you just mean overall all of the craziness that's been going on in the country?
Yeah, you overall. See She-Wolf doing this.
Overall. Overall, counselor, okay. Because we're hearing politicians say, all we want are your machine guns. You don't need those automatic guns. Then we're hearing other politicians say, this includes your handguns as well. So that's where you see, a nation up in arms who love their guns. I mean, this is obviously a gun-heavy society, correct?
Yeah. So, just to dwindle what I read down to the most important part, the Second Amendment gives us the right to keep and bear arms peaceably, right? I don't think there's enough emphasis on the peaceably part. That word was not a part of that verbatim recitation, but to the extent that we can interpret what our forefathers wanted, like that's across the nation how we've interpreted it, that people should have arms, bear them peaceably. I'm going to speak primarily about New Jersey because that's my wheelhouse. As it pertains to semi-automatic weapons in New Jersey, like most of the country, we have the most stringent gun laws, as we should. I think we have the lowest amount of gun crimes in the nation in comparison to all the other crazy, ridiculous things that you hear about in other states. And I think that has a lot to do with what you're talking about when you talk about the difference between the types of guns. Our laws are really like mechanics specific and heavy. The statute that I'm talking about, just for education purposes, that really gives you insight about that is 2C:39-5. where it lays out by section what the felony is, what the amount of time you would get based on the type of gun that you had. As it pertains to handguns, that's considered a second-degree felony in New Jersey, which I think is effectively working as a deterrent, right? I think because it's still a felony here, and you will get that 5 to 10 year mandatory sentence under the Graves Act, people are not as, for lack of a better expression, but I think this illustrates it in the best way, are not like Parkland happy, right? We don't have scenarios like that happening as frequently in states like Florida, where people are already, being crazy just because they live there. But because there are effective deterrents with these kinds of punishments. And just to harken back what I was talking about that SCOTUS decision, the SCOTUS decision, I think, brings up a lot of questions that come in to the office with regard to the permit to carry, right? People in Jersey are like, that's cool that we have stringent gun laws, but why can't I carry, right? You never know when something's going to pop off. If I live in Perth Amboy, like a Christie, or if I live in a Newark, like I should be able to just, in line with the title of today's show, pull out my Glock or my Uzi in defense of myself and my family. the Supreme Court is basically like, yeah, you should. Here, New York brought up the issue of how come we can't, right? New York, like New Jersey, has what we call the may issue a license interpretation of the Second Amendment, which means you got to go through the extensive background checks and you got to justify the need, right? And most times, the only people that justify the need for that carry license are security guards, people who work in law enforcement, nobody else. You can't just go into your local police department and say, hey, I live in Perth Amboy and it's unsafe here. And I feel like I should be able to carry something just in case something pops off. Or, hey, I live in Newark, I don't feel safe. And to me, that is worth exploring and discussing. SCOTUS has kind of put it right there in front of all of us now, because their decision basically was like, let's do away with that may issue and let's change all of the statutes to shall issue and take the burden off of the people having to prove why they should. You know, if I'm not in law enforcement, how come I can't carry my gun to work? You know, I work, I don't know, in the middle of Newark, for instance, and, you know, it's unsafe there and I feel threatened. So I don't know if that's something you want to explore. Well, we got the floor right now on that.
Right.
Very much so.
Okay. So good stuff, Ashley. Thanks for highlighting all those points, right? I think that gives us a good idea of what our laws are in New Jersey, right? The Second Amendment, everything to that nature. So that was very detailed and thorough. Thank you very much. Please don't go anywhere yet. I just want to jump over to Christy for 1 second. So, Christy, based on what Ashley has shared with you today of Bailey Esquire, one of the best criminal defense attorney law companies, you know, let me just hold on. Now I'm going to try it again. Bailey Esquire, one of the best criminal defense attorneys in the tri-state area. I think I had it right that time. You see what tequila does? Okay, in the tri-state area. Christy, based on what Ashley has just shared with us, do you still feel as though the Second Amendment is being held up properly and that our gun laws are safe?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
And I also believe that, you know, teachers should be able to carry guns as well.
Teachers? Christy.
Yes.
Christy, I'm having tequila. What'd you have, honey?
Well, let me just butt in here real quick. Christy, that might be a real possibility soon based on the SCOTUS decision in June.
Yeah.
So the Supreme Court said, hey, listen, why do people have to justify the need to carry a weapon? The case that brought on that decision was brought by citizens in New York who they're not in law enforcement. They may very well be teachers. I haven't done the research to know like who they were and what they were doing, but they requested to carry weapons in the course of their daily activity, working, you know, traveling, doing whatever. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, we think that we should do away with that. The state of New York should do away with this justified need interpretation of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment says that, you know, you should have the right to keep and bear arms peaceably. And if you are a law-abiding citizen, why can't you just get a gun? Why can't you get a permit to carry? So that said, it may be a real possibility. And are you prepared for that reality? Because we all know that some teachers aren't wrapped too tight. And if they are allowed to just, you know, go ahead and get their permit, do you think that would open up the door?
I think that teachers should be able to carry guns and use it to their discretion.
Of course you do. You feel like my 18-year-old daughter should carry a gun.
That would be stupid.
Okay, and that's
what happens if
my opinion.
What happens if? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Russ.
I'm just saying it's a real discussion, you guys, because they're talking about arming physicians as well in hospital settings, as they've been the victims of violence, and it has drawn a line right down the middle, as there are doctors in the emergency rooms who have been assaulted, and nurses as well, who want to carry, and then there are those who say, that's not my job, I'm there to treat. That's what we have security for. So it's a real issue.
You telling me kids gonna be getting shot in the classroom now?
Well, because
in the motherfucking hospital.
The scenario could also play out that a child, because children, young ones, because I've worked in a school system, they will just run up to you and hug you. Now, teacher has a gun on them.
Right, and
let's think about this one real quick.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that the teachers would be having the guns on their hips. It would obviously be locked away so that the children couldn't get
Christy.
If it's locked away, how much time do you have to run? Go to the lock away case, unlock it, get the gun to shoot the guy.
That defeats the whole purpose of carrying.
Well,
let's think about that.
Parents are going to start
actually, it doesn't.
From what I understand, if you have a gun, it's supposed to be on your persons.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Christy, do you have any children, Christy?
Yes, I have 5.
Okay. How old is your youngest, Christy?
My youngest is 12.
Okay, so they're beyond the hugging stage. They're in the fucking annoying stage right now at 12. So with that said, Christy, your kids won't be running up to the teacher hugging them. But have you seen that day when teenagers go wild?
Right, and that's why I said that the gun should be locked away. And I'm not saying that the gun should be locked away far. Obviously, it should be locked away by their desk.
But
so they know that. Listen to me. Hear me out. So when they sense that danger is coming, they'll be able to unlock their safe and get the gun in a timely fashion.
So from now on, when I do a parent-teacher conference, I got to do this when I'm talking to my child's teacher. I got to be like,
I have a question.
No, I'm armed too.
I think a bulletproof door. We should start there.
That just opens a can of worms. You're leaving it up to the discretion of a teacher of what a scenario that teacher may feel is enough for gun violence, or another teacher may not. So you're really leaving it to discretion. Have you been to a high school lately? Have you seen how their fights are?
I've worked with all age groups in the school system.
Excuse me. Nobody said that the teachers would just be shooting at children. Obviously, it would be.
I think a kid's gonna get shot. No, that's what I think.
We're talking about possible scenarios.
So I just want to play devil advocate right now.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to circle back to counsel.
Yeah.
Because we asked for 10 minutes of her time, and I have one more question for her. So counsel, if somebody come up in my house. Me and my dog shoot them because they got guns too. We all gonna be shoot. Then when they dead, they bite. So I'm calling Bailey Esquire. I'm calling you, counsel.
Well, let me put the number in the chat. So
yeah, put that number up in the chat.
Easy access, because it sounds like this might be a real possibility. So I'm just gonna put the number.
Yo, my dog. We go to the shooting ring. My dogs shoot better than me. I think they'll take them out. I think that shit's over. Once Zeus shoot, it's over. So anyway, counsel, what I wanted to ask you is, what is the current charge for carrying an unlicensed gun in New Jersey? Because I don't have a license.
Yeah, so you would be charged with the unlawful possession of a weapon, right? And that not only encompasses guns. I just want to make that clear. So even if you did not have a gun, but you had brass knuckles, a baseball bat, if it was used in what would be interpreted as unlawfully, then you would be charged under that statute. Now, in fact, let's go back to your scenario. You had a gun. You don't have a permit for it. It's a second-degree felony. and you would have to do the mandatory, which would be 5 to 10 years in jail.
Holy shit! Wait a minute.
Now, wait. Just a little plug for what can be done for you.
Who's coming with
at
me?
the law offices of Mark Bailey. If you are, in fact, a first-time offender, which I'm pretty sure you are, unless
you're sobered up real quick.
No, I bit somebody before, but I never shot anybody.
Okay.
And it was a soft fight.
We might be able to submit a Graves waiver and, have the court some type of pretrial intervention plan. But that rarely happens. That New Jersey courts are sensitive to that when there's an extreme act of violence. So
I'll be nice in court.
Too pretty to go to jail. Huh? That's that excuse.
I mean,
I think she'll be a lone wolf by then.
That won't work.
She'll be a lone wolf.
Wait, y'all ain't coming? Y'all
You'll be a lone wolf.
No, what one person told me, and I'm going to just give y'all the tip in case y'all have to shoot somebody. When you go to jail, just don't wash your ass.
Oh, wow.
I'm dead.
Nah.
And I'm
excuse me.
Listen, the worst thing to do is to take a shit and get in the shower and let the water run through. Don't wash. Just don't wash. No, I'm serious. Don't wash your ass.
I'm
not going to jail.
I was going to drop the soap.
No,
You
don't.
better not do that either.
Drop
Don't drop
the
no
soap.
soap.
Drop that motherfucking soap. Just don't bend over and pick it up because you don't want to wash your ass. Thank you so much, Counsel Bailey. Listen, I pray I don't have to call you.
I'm so glad I got to participate today.
Yes, and you've been great. Thank you so much.
Thank
But
you.
if I do ever get in any trouble, I know where to call. I hope the rest of you know where to call because I know where to fucking. I know who. The Wolfpack may not be coming to jail with me, but Billy Esquire got me.
Can I ask Dr. Ashley something?
Who?
Dr. Harper, Ashley?
Yeah. Counsel Harper.
Counsel Harper. What you feel about the age? Should the age be pushed up? Like maybe 21?
To apply for a permit?
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of a military background, so no. No.
okay.
Christy, did you hear that, Christy? Christy, is you there? Christy, I know you're there.
Yes.
You heard what she said now, right? She said, hell nah.
But I mean,
She said, fuck
just
that.
to be clear, like that is
It should be
100%
18.
just opinion. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not looking at that objectively based on my limited, military background. I don't feel like it needs to be raped.
So basically, Christy, what she just said is without too much thought, shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
She said, hell no.
And I think that it should be 18. I don't think that people should have to, go through the written exam or a training course in order to obtain their, their gun license. I don't think that a gun license is necessary.
That's not what you said at first.
I believe that.
You said my 18-year-old daughter, who fucking went insane tonight right before the show. I mean, in fucking saying, I'm not going to be in a yearbook, it's your fault. And then the other one's like, yeah, Mom, that's fucked up. She didn't say fucked up, but she was like, yeah, Mom, that's messed up. If they had a gun, Christy, over the yearbook pictures, I wouldn't be sitting here right now tonight. And that's not what you said when you just logged in, because teenagers, I want to say specifically those with estrogen and progesterone.
Obviously, not all teenagers are just, their first instinct would be just to shoot their parents. So I think that's an invalid statement.
It's just mine.
That's an invalid statement.
It's just mine. It's just mine.
There's a lot of kids that shot their parents.
Although, wait a minute, and I'm gonna
under 18.
I'm gonna say this to
I think
counsel.
they're about to get out. The ones
counsel. I'm gonna say this to counsel. Thank you very much for your participation and education in the show today. Thank you for sharing the information that if any of us has to take somebody's head off for coming into our house, we know where to call first. Do you take collect calls, counsel?
We have been known to do that. We would hope that you didn't get arrested before you called, you know. You're not in custody.
I think the cops will be mad when they get there that I gave the dogs guns. But you know what? Fuck that. I don't give a fuck. I did what the fuck I had to do.
Oh my God. Before I go though, I did want to just preface. I prefaced what I said because I don't 100% agree with you, Christy. I'm not choosing sides, but I do see the value in teaching someone, even as young as 18, how to use a weapon.
I agree.
Yes.
If my dogs could learn, the kids could learn. But you know what? My dogs make better decisions than the kids.
Yeah, and you make sure that they have the, you know, the safety protocols down, then I don't see the harm. But okay, I'll leave you to it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, counsel, for joining.
Thank you,
I hope
counsel.
I don't have to call you, but
Thank you.
I'll speak to you soon. Thank you, Counsel Ashley.
Bye.
Christy, you gonna stand on that, Christy?
Yes. I believe that we should all participate in, making America great again.
Christy, what do you think about those kids that died down in the Uvalde shooting?
I'm actually not going to speak on that.
No, Christy, you called into the show.
Okay.
You called into the show, Christy.
Those cops.
So
Those
say
cops
what you
fucked
gotta
up.
say, Christy from Pearl
Yes.
Boy.
They
Say
was
what
just
you
saying it
gotta
all.
say.
They were depending on law enforcement, and law enforcement let them down.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I bet you if those parents were carrying, they would have went in there and handled that business right there.
And the parents was
Well,
trying to
there
give
was a
the parents
parent
was
that
trying to
did
give
go in there.
Right,
They-
and that goes back into everyone should be able to carry a gun without a license.
But
If the parents
No,
had
that doesn't-
license that night, it would have gone. If the parent
Right,
had guns
right.
that night, it would have
Hold
gone.
on,
different.
Christy. Hold on, Beast.
It
Let's
could
hear,
have-
let's hear
it-
from
it
Quirky
could've-
Mermaid real quick. Quirky Mermaid, what you got to say?
I'm in agreement with Carrie, right? I'm in agreement with Carrie. I'm in agreement with 18 because every 18 is different. Right? We can't make the rules based on one that's immature and one that's not. So we have to make the rules that are across the board for all of them, and that would be up to the parent to educate their child to be comfortable or not comfortable with a gun by the time they reach 18, so they can make the proper choice for themselves as adults. But that shouldn't fall on everybody else's shoulders. It should really be part of the parenting. It's the parents. Guns are not the problem.
And thank you, Corky, for
Right,
saying that
and,
because
go ahead.
I've been to gun competitions and I've seen these teen girls and they are good. I mean, they're there with their shotguns, they're there with their archery, they're hunters. Okay, they do a better job than someone in their 30s and 40s. You know who?
Damn,
who
y'all
carry
want me
guns, yeah.
dead. So y'all saying that my 18, 17, almost 18 little daughter should have a gun? Because I say hell no.
I don't think your daughter's
I think that it's the parent's job to raise the kid right.
Oh shit,
where
Christy.
they know.
What's she doing?
Well,
Christy, what the hell you saying? What the hell you saying, Christy? You saying I didn't do my goddamn job right?
I'm not
I don't even
saying
think that
anything.
matters. If your kid is
I'm
crazy,
making
your kid's gonna kill you.
a general statement.
If your
I'm
kid is
making a
crazy,
general
your kid's
statement.
gonna kill you. No matter why you raise them.
Can we all agree
And
that
that's-
a wolf could hold a gun?
Ooh.
Can what?
See, but I'm a
Chris.
shapeshifter. Some days I'm
What
a
did you
wolf.
say?
I'm a shapeshifter. Some days I'm a wolf. Some days I'm a
Yes, I feel like Christy could agree that, wolves could hold a gun
Okay.
with us.
My daughters haven't come into their wolfhood yet. They're 100% emotional humans.
But you gotta have some sort of that works. But there's a lot of cracks, and if we can fill in the cracks, we might able to actually move forward from it. but we got to focus on the cracks, and I think everybody's focused on the gun and not focus on what's causing the issues.
So let's
Which
talk
is the
about
individual.
let's talk about all these
it's
school
the individual.
shootings. What is the connection between the defendants, the shooters of these elementary school shootings that have been happening since 2010? To my understanding, and someone please, I'm ready to be corrected if wrong, they were all under the ages of 21.
Pretty much.
But Christy, are you still there, baby? You still feel as though these 18-year-olds should have a gun?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
So, to my understanding, Christy, and someone please correct me if I'm wrong, the connection, the similarity between these shooters in elementary schools between 2010 to the current date, 7/21/22, they've all been under the age of 21. But you called in and said you felt as though 18-year-olds should have a gun with or without a license and not be arrested, as counsel called in and said, if you are found with an unlicensed gun, you are subject to 5 to 6 years in prison. But all it is, the connection between these shooters was they were all under 21 in these elementary schools between 2010 and the current date.
Right, and that's where teachers being able to hold the gun come into place.
Are you sure that's the answer, or is the answer not giving guns to people under a certain age? You know what? I'm going to say this. What about technology? What about the evolution of technology? The fact that right now, if I don't make my daughter's car payment, they can fucking just disable the car in the goddamn driveway, right? They don't repossess cars anymore. They go on a fucking system and they shut the bitch down, and you can't drive it. So why can't you do that with guns? If we really wanted to address the gun issue in America, why couldn't we just disable guns? Why the same way if I go buy a new iPhone or a fucking Samsung today, why the hell couldn't you have a carbon print on the damn phone that I couldn't activate it? I couldn't use the gun unless it was me. Right?
Well, see,
guns can be sold, but the evolution of technology can prevent who uses them. So do we really want to prevent who uses them? Because technology can allow that to happen right now, today. You can deactivate a gun. If I said tomorrow, because my husband died, which I don't have one, thank God. But if my husband died tomorrow and I said, I want to kill myself, I want to go with him, my daughter should be able to just call a number and say, listen, my mom is a little suicidal right now, and they'll go in a system and deactivate my fucking gun. The same will deactivate my fucking car if I don't pay for it. And a thumbprint. I bought a goddamn treadmill during COVID, and I couldn't turn it on until I registered it with my carbon footprint on the fucking internet. But a gun is not the same. Tell me if we wanted to, Corky Mermaid, I know you have something to say. We couldn't do that. We can control it if we want to. The question is, do we want to, Corky Mermaid?
No. I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I come from the descendants of a different country where guns were taken away by the government, and till this day that island is still struggling and cannot beat the government. They've been under this horrible dictatorship for 60 years because they have no weapons to fight. They have no way to fight the government. They shut them out of the internet the other day just because they didn't want it flowing to anywhere else around the world what was going on the island. Are you willing to put that trust on the government to shut off our guns whenever they feel like it?
What country are you talking about?
Cuban.
You can jailbreak guns just like you can jailbreak fucking Comcast and the other system. But I'm going to say this. Do we really want to do it? Because we can track guns. We can deactivate guns. We can make sure that guns are not activated without a carbon footprint, just like a goddamn treadmill. So do we want to do it?
Yeah, but you can't do that.
We will never get rid of guns. We will never get rid of guns, just like we'll never get rid of drugs, just like we'll never get rid of human trafficking. It fuels our economy. Let's call it what it is.
That is
okay?
what it is.
It will never be rid of it.
But you can't do that with ghost guns.
Explain to me why you cannot do that with ghost guns. Anything that you tag in the system and apply geofences to, you can know where it is and deactivate it, shut it the fuck down as long as there's a sensor in it.
Yes, but if you have an intellect that's able to put it together and take it apart, they can very well just deactivate.
So that's jailbreaking. But my point is, at the same time, we are not even trying to control it like we control cars. We have sensors in our driver's license. We have sensors in our Easy Pass. We have sensors in our fucking car. But we have no sensors in guns. So where is the effort?
Does that mean we could put sensors in police guns then?
Turn them off, turn them on.
Sensors should be in all guns. I mean, at the end of the day, police officers wear those video cams. So
a police
maybe
officer,
if a police officer, if someone sitting in the headquarters saw the police officers were getting upset, i.e. the situation with Derek Chauvin, if they could go in and deactivate the fucking gun, maybe Derek Chauvin would be alive now.
Okay, but look, now what if somebody thought the officer was getting aggressive, but he really wasn't? They deactivate his weapon, but the other guy's weapon worked.
There were other police officers on the scene who seemed more mentally capable than the officer who responded to Derek Chauvin. I'm sorry, I don't know the guy's name, but whoever the fuck it was that pulled the trigger, him. So if the other officers are not, the other officers' guns are not deactivated, if a situation arises where he needed to be shot, their guns be ready. But you know what? If we had that capability, because it's easy to apply, it takes seconds.
It'll never happen.
No, it won't ever happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying we're capable. That's the difference. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining the Wolf Pack tonight.
These short classes.
On the topic of Uzis to Glocks is the Second Amendment on a chopping block. Our gun crisis in America. With that said, if you feel like there needs to be a part 2, this show airs on bks1radio.com. However, we do have our YouTube page on Wife to Wolf at YouTube. Go check us out. Please comment. Let us know. Do we need a part 2 to this topic? Do we need to bring on some police officers? Yes. What's up? Okay. And the second thing, make sure you like our post. Make sure you like our YouTube page. Make sure you like this show. Show us some love and maybe I'll bite you. Have a good evening, everyone. That's the Wolf Pack in the building right there for your ass. Take care.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
See y'all later.
Bye, everyone.